Hey everybody, welcome to the final video for the year 2022 here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. The purpose of this video is to talk a bit about the year that was, recap, reflect, talk about what's coming up in the new year, and also I've got a giveaway in this exact video. You'll see here, I've got this tub with all sorts of goodies in there, which you're going to see a lot more of in 2023. I'm going to be doing a lot more giveaways. I've got a collection of some signed Guernseys from Corey Durden, Sam Walsh. I've got some special limited edition items that were provided to us at some point throughout the journey of the Carlton Football Club over the last few years, which are now no longer available. And I'm going to be giving a lot of them away in season 2023. So I think it's a good idea to do this video now that we've had quite a few months away from the season, not only from the way it ended, but also after draft. I think it's very important to step away, unplug, and then recharge and get going again. Footy is a really interesting experience for us. I've said it a lot. I think here in Melbourne in particular, I think the footy is part of the identity of the city, of the state, really. And it's the core reason why I personally live in Melbourne. I love the footy that much. I don't think there's an experience better than the whole week of a game coming up, and with that, and now, being a content creator in the space, it's become a part of my career and profession and what I do for a living. So adding that has been a real blessing. And I think that's ultimately what 2022 ended up being for the channel. It, I think, really set the foundations in stone as to what we're going to do moving forward. I like the fact that we're able to really establish there's a serious team and everyone has a different role to play on the channel. You've got so many different shows, so many different arms, and you've got people that own that part. And I think that is one of the things that was one of the greatest successes of the year, in the fact that, able to provide opportunities for others and then allow them to flourish within their own right. I learned a lot about leadership, communication, and management this year on a personal front. The channel, went from being a documentation of just me and then really opened up to allow more minds, more Carlton minds to come to the game and to play in this YouTube space and allow us to get more perspectives. I identified pretty early in the piece that it was important to build a platform as opposed to just me being the only person on video. I think it's important for the longevity of the channel. I think also it's important to build something greater than oneself. And that's something that motivates me, something that I definitely take seriously. And it's something that I will continue to do so, no doubt about it. I think also building something that's greater than one is ultimately where the legacy play comes into effect. I really strongly believe, I always have, as you all know, now that we've moved closer and closer into this digital world when it comes to sporting organizations and the digitization of a fan, there needs to be a digital platform in which fans can, openly discuss what's happening with their sporting teams. And in our case, the Carlton Football Club. I think it's a crucial piece to the future of engagement with the fans. I think also we allow the discussion to generate. I think discussion has evolved over the last few years. We've gone from forums and, pages where you're not identifiable, whereas now we have a platform with video where people are identifiable. And I think that identification piece is important for accountability. This is something that, we can come on here and we can express our views and we can be open and honest and raw, but with that comes a responsibility. And that's something that I've definitely improved on and always look to improve on. I look at my early videos and it was just raw. It was just raw emotion. There was no template for me per se. There are some things that obviously get said in the heat of the moment that you wish you could have back, but that's the whole point of getting vulnerable and ultimately, you've all really grown up with me. There are a lot of you that I probably haven't even met, but you've watched for, a long period of time, and, you kind of know a big piece of who I am and, my identity. I like to keep a lot of the rest of my life, private. I was always very conscious about putting face to camera and, the implications of that long term, because I see a lot of people get sucked into creating content, acting, talking, being somebody that they aren't true to themselves. And that's something that I know that if that ever starts happening with me, it's time to step away. This is me. I love it. I'm an emotional supporter. Love the club. I also have, a really important internal role to play within myself. Like I find this whole experience to be a big responsibility, and it needs to be done right, because I think fan channels are going to be a big piece of the future of sporting clubs. In fact, I know they are. I see that happen around the world, and I think Australia is getting to the party a little later than the rest of the world. That generally happens with innovation, I believe, in my experience. But I think we're set up really well. I think the Carlton Football Club is set up really well with the fans and the fan engagement and the fan content. There's so many podcasts, there's so much content going out there. I think it's wonderful that we have actually led this new era of content. We don't just take what the mainstream says about us as fact anymore. We're taking ownership of the narrative, so to speak. And that's where I think the future of this and the industry is going to be. I think we live in an entertainment world. We live in a content world. And I think content is going to be one of the key components to growing not only the club's supporter base, but the game in general. I think you've got so many content creators who are doing this out of the pure passion of their hearts. And with that, they're helping spread the word of the game. So that's what's happening. The year was... We all know what the year was. We all get so caught up. I get so caught up in the way it ended. I don't think the way it ended defines the year itself. I think that would be unfair. We've heard all the talk about it. I think Vossi, in his speech at the Best and Fairest, really summed it up well. The narrative is we're in control of it and all of that. And that's true. My hope is that... No, not my hope. I know that 2022 is merely part of the entire story of this group. However long the core lasts together, whether it's a 10, 12, 13, 14 year run, we're already, 7 or so years into the beginning of this, which was, that 2015 draft is really the core of this. And then you sprinkle in a few pieces before that, like Patrick Cripps and Sam Doherty and the like. So I do believe 2022 will be just part of the story. Obviously, right now, we haven't got another game to watch to get on from the way it ended. But the hope is that the pain is the driving force, and the pain is the binding force really for the group. There's something to be said about going through heartbreak and heartache and life hitting you in the face. I think I used this analogy at least 47 times this year. But, life hits you just like Jamie Elliott running into open goal. And it's so true. I'd find so many parallels to the way our season ended and life in general. Just when you think you're about to reach the milestone, just when you think you've done enough, just when you think you've succeeded, the next challenge hits you in the face. And that's the game of life. You build until you reach what your next milestone is. You get there, you celebrate it, you're happy about it. Look at us, 12 wins. And then all of a sudden that next wave comes. I think we are going to look back at 2022 as a blessing. It probably is very hard to look at it that way right now, but the blessing in just continuing to be reminded of how much work is still to come. I think for the first time now with this group, we're kind of on the map, really on the map. I think the rest of the competition now looks at Carlton and says, okay, well, if we're not on our game, they can beat anyone on any given day. So is that a milestone in itself? Yeah, maybe. If you look at 12 months prior, complete basket case, completely embarrassing the way the season ended. And so in that regard, I'm grateful to have experienced the 2022 in the way it was. Obviously going back to the footy regularly as well, remembering, that it was taken away from us and all of those themes. So moving forward, it is excitement. And that's what time does. Time heals wounds. I don't know if that heals the wound, but it probably helps deal with the wound a lot more than in its initial phase of experience. So time's going to be an important one. I think enough time has passed now where we start to look ahead, but I think ultimately it's only until we get to round 1 and then they start the journey of season 2023 that we can truly move on. So when it comes to expectations and when it comes to enjoying the season, I'm curious to see how I feel going into the season. I'm curious to see, am I going to be all about living in the moment and enjoying the wins while they're there, or am I going to be reserved and just wait until we get that 13th win or whatever it is, enough for us to clinch that finals position? And I'm mindful of getting too caught up in just making finals and having that as the goal. I believe this is a group that is capable of contending for a premiership. I truly do. I believe we lack experience, and that will probably be something that hinders us as we go deeper and deeper into the season in 2023. But with every year that passes, and with every year that passes with us playing in, meaningful games, and what I mean by that is not getting to round 20 knowing we're done and we're just playing in dead rubbers. I think, we now play in meaningful games. We're now playing games against the top teams, expecting to get a result. I think as we get more experience in these games, we're obviously going to be better for it and better at it, provided that we're taking the lessons and allowing the focus to really dial in. And, as much as we asked for professionalism in 2022, it's got to go up a level in 23. And that's just the nature of the beast. There's a really good list there. Really, really good list. I look at it. I might be biased, but you look at it on paper and you're like, where are the holes? The holes in terms of players. I think we have all the players that we need in all the various positions to succeed. The next layer of conversation comes around health and being available, and that's clearly something that we need to address, and that's something that has apparently been addressed internally. We heard from Luke Sayers on the Summer Sessions podcast, so that's important. That's crucial. So I look forward to that. But yeah, I wanted to say a big thank you to all of you. I know I say thank you a lot, but you got to get used to it, because without you guys watching the channel, consuming the content, supporting it, it doesn't grow to where it has right now. So I'm very grateful for what's happened. I look at 2022, for me, I look at it as this is what I pictured back in 2018, 2019 for it to hopefully be. So now we're kind of there. Now the most important part for me is to look ahead for the next 3 to 5 years and really nail down with the purpose. My big intention is to stay consistent. My big intention is that, the blueprint, so to speak, is here, and it's just about executing on it, month in, month out, year in, year out. And then, the longevity of that work will do the talking. I think I can certainly sometimes get caught in and sucked into metrics that don't matter. Like I remember this time last year, when I look at the year as a whole in 2021, I had an internal goal where I wanted 1 million views for the year. And I was so fixated on it. And we ended up finishing on 974,000 views for the year. And I remember being really, really disappointed at that. And it kind of clouded my judgment as to what a successful year looked like. 2022, we hit the 1 million. It was 1.2 million views for the year, which I guess it just looks nice. I think being so close to the goal and falling short is what stung. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. The view count and these metrics, they don't really matter. The focus should and always will be around those that are already here and just providing as much value as possible for those that are already here. And then, having faith that the work is good enough from a quality standpoint, from a quantity standpoint, and there's a little bit of something for everybody as much as possible. And then just to continue to provide value and just get better year in, year out. That's all I can really control. Just how can we get better year in, year out? It's no different to the group. What can you really expect and hope for from the group each season? I think really when you really summarize it, you just want improvement every year. You want to be going closer towards a premiership than further away from it every year, particularly when you've got a group that hasn't been there at all. So that's the same principle that will be applied to the channel. Now, in this video, this item will be up for grabs. So this is the Eddie Betts 350 long sleeve tee that was made available to us for Eddie's last game. You can see I've got the tag in there, still in its bag. And essentially what I want to do is I want to give it away to somebody in the comments below. What I want you to do is I want you to let me know, what did you achieve in 2022? What did you set out to do at the start of the year that you achieved in 2022? Leave a comment below. I will pick one of the comments to be the winner of the prize, and I will send you out this limited edition Eddie Betts 350 tee. I think one day it'll be, it is already very valuable, but I think the more that time goes on, a packaged version of this will be a lot more valuable to one lucky winner. So in the comments below, what did you achieve in 2022? And by the same token, we're going to do this again in 2023. I'd love to get some feedback from you as well, whether you want to write a comment about the channel where it can be improved, ideas that you have. If you want to email me, you're more than welcome to please email me, reach out to me on Instagram, anywhere where you can contact me. It's important to get feedback, for good, for bad. Nothing gets taken personally. Help me help you to provide a better experience for season 2023. But yeah, from the bottom of the heart, thank you. Thank you for allowing this to be what it is. I pinch myself a lot when I think about what's been built. But you can't get too caught up in what's been built. Otherwise, you fall apart. So I'm motivated as ever to go up another level. I'm motivated as ever to help serve you and provide a better experience digitally for us. I'm really motivated by, being one of the best. I'm motivated by being, I guess when it comes to perception, like external, I don't worry too much about it. I worry about, how I feel within myself. But, we're the Carlton Football Club and we view ourselves as, the best club in the land. And I believe we need to have the best fan channel in the land. I believe all facets of any representation of the club need to be ones which have the intention of being at the top. And that's what I bring into the channel. And I hope I've done a solid enough job of that. And my promise is to continue to do that. So enjoy your New Year's Eve. Enjoy your New Year's resolutions. Get them done. Get the action done. Write them down. Act on them. Check in. Keep yourself accountable. And I'll see you on the other side. All the best and go Blues.